Hello, duelists. It is your boy Winster, and I am back at it again with another video. I hope everyone watching is having an amazing, phenomenal, fantastic day. Everyone who does interact with the channel, who views it, who likes videos, who comment, thank you so much for the support. You guys are the reason this channel is growing. Thank you so much. Please consider subscribing and turning on the notification bell. 6,000 is too small of a number, guys. It's way too small. We could do better. I know that that's the goal, but let's aim for 10,000. So please consider subscribing. Down below, you could go ahead and check the description box. Please do so. There is a link to a Discord, to a TikTok, to an Instagram, to a Twitter. Go follow me on all those platforms. Join the Discord. Guys, it is free. Everyone could join in. I'm there all the time. There's a massive Yu-Gi-Oh community. If you guys need help with deck editing, testing, trading, again, I'm from Arizona, so keep that in mind. Whole huge community, super positive. So pull up absolutely for free. Shout out to my YouTube channel members. Shout out to Leo, Tyler, Zeke, Jared, FGC, Corey, absolutely Looney, SDR Noah, Devin Bender, Steve Fox, Veggie Bell Yu-Gi-Oh, Hunter McDonald, Jay Garcia, Quick, Wymie, and Thomas Mead. Thank you, of course, for always supporting me. Those channel members, I appreciate every single one of you guys. What you guys get when you become a channel member, you guys get early access on all full videos, shout out on every single full video, and when I do stream, which I am streaming pretty regularly now, I gotten a lot better, guys. You guys can play games with me on EDO Pro, Master Duel, or Remote Duel. We got that set up now, so be sure to pull up. It's going to be a lot easier through the Discord, so be sure to get into that Discord and join up. It's a lot easier to do the Remote Duel there. Thank you so much for all your support. I appreciate you, but let's jump right into this undefeated deck profile. Jumping right into the deck profile, this is a 41 card build. I'm going to go ahead and go through my thoughts, my opinions, how I feel about the deck, how it plays, for those wondering. But let's jump right into it. Honestly, the best starter in the whole deck is Rosin. On normal or special, you search anything that isn't a warrior. So literally anything other than himself is going to be able to search out. You could search out a dark that you need, an earth that you need, another fire that you need. It's just absolutely crazy what this card does. And it's linkable. It does have another effect where it destroys anything in the column that it's in, which could come up later. And we'll get to a point where we really highlight that in this profile. But the best starter. The second best starter is going to be Mad Love. So on normal or special, searches out the spell or a trap. You're going to search out the field spell, which is essentially what Rosin does. By targeting a Vanquish soul, you add anything that isn't what you control. So this could add an earth, add a fire. Not as versatile as Rosin, but you also get the field spell, which does come up later on in the combo. But those are three mandatory because they are the best starters. Holly Sue, we are playing 3 of. Holly Sue is a phenomenal card because it allows you to do the famous 0 turn plays. On your opponent's turn, you reveal a Vanquish Soul as a quick effect, and you summon this thing. Depending on what you have, right? If you don't have the right attributes, you're going to want to summon to get the right attributes, right? Because you reveal a fire in the dark, and you special summon from the deck. You reveal an earth in the dark, and you take the lowest attack position, or the lowest attack monster your opponent controls. So if your opponent is, trying to play, or just as an interruption, you're going to just take their stuff and just use it in the mirror, or you could just take it to stop them from extending. So really good card. 2 copies of Heavy Borger. This card is amazing because it allows cards like Mad Love or even Holly Sue to some extent, and especially Rosin, to dodge cards that target like Valor and Imperm, which aren't the most popular in the format right now, because Yummy's really the only one that's playing a lot of like non-engine. This doesn't have a lot of use because it's a rank set, it's a level 7, so it doesn't really do much for you. So engine wise, doesn't really do much, but it is a dark, which you do need for Holly Sue and other cards. But I think the most versatile thing that this does is prevent target or dodge targeting. It draws you a card for reeling a dark. So if you have like Mad Love in it, summon Mad Love, search the spell, they target with Valor, you activate this, add back the Mad Love, search the spell, then draw a card. Or you could bring your opponent if you're planning to go through the OTK line, which is crazy. This card is really good. You usually side one out, or at least I do, going into like game 2 and game 3, because opening multiple of this just feels awful. Xiaolong. Now, I love Xiaolong. At the same time, I don't like Xiaolong. So let's highlight why he's good. He's good because he's a fire, right? The deck naturally doesn't have a lot of fires. We only have the one. And a lot of the effects do need a fire to get the best one, in my personal opinion. But Xiaolong not only is a fire, but he's a 5. So he works naturally with the K9 engine, which once we get there, I'll highlight. But that's also another reason why he's useful. I do see decks play him at 3, which I do think it's wrong because the deck already has so many issues with consistency. You don't want to brick up with 3 Xiaolong, you know, like you definitely don't want to do that. I don't see a reason to play 3 in my personal opinion. So that's why I stuck to 2, and I usually side one out because you do have other fires that aren't Vanquish soul cards. So, and whenever you reveal a card, you don't have to reveal a Vanquish type, right? It just needs to be that specific attribute. Excuse me, I said type again, attribute. We're playing One Caesar Valius. Card is amazing. Reveal an Earth, unaffected. And reveal all 3 Earth, Dark, and Fire to pop a card non-targeting, which is absolutely broken. But I think the biggest thing is this guy has the same usefulness as Heavy Borger. He could target to return something, which is really, really good in my opinion. And that's why you only play 1, because he really only has that effect. And you already play 2 Borger, so you don't want to brick up even more in my personal opinion. And we are playing 3 copies of Stake Your Soul. Yeah, this card is amazing. You reveal any type, attribute, excuse me, keep saying type, and you summon the same type. So if you reveal a Holisu, you can summon a Caesar. Or if you reveal a Ash, you summon the Ryzen. It's really good because it doesn't require you to show like a Vanquish. It's just like any attribute and you summon the same attribute. And then it gets bounced to the end of the turn. So to avoid that, you could just like add it back. But really great starter, especially with, you know, how the deck functions. It just could get you another attribute, maybe another level 5 for your rank 5 plays. Snow Devil, really great. Burns for 18 if you reveal all 3, but it prevents your cards from Vanquish Soul cards to be destroyed by card effects. Burns your opponent, special summons from hand, and then board wipes. So I did mention earlier what Rosin does have other applications for. So typically when you activate Snow Devil, you're gonna hopefully reveal all 3. And then so I'll destroy anything that is a Vanquish Soul, right? So that's pretty tough. And then on top of that, you could summon the Rosin in the column that you need to get rid of another card, just in case. And then Rosin could just blow something else up as well. And at this point, if you reeled all 3, you're gonna have all those same 3 for this, you know, for the most part. But yeah, Snow Devil, great card, but it is a brick. Maybe not the worst brick to open because it's so useful, but it is a brick nonetheless because it doesn't really push the Vanquish Soul agenda in terms of getting the right resources. Vanquish Soul start, phenomenal card. You only really play 1. Again, consistency issues here. But yeah, you target a Vanquish Soul monster you control, add a Vanquish Soul monster with a different attribute than what you control from your deck to your hand. Also, if you control 2 or more Vanquish Soul cards, monsters, excuse me, you could go ahead and set the trap, which is going to be Snow Devil. So it's a Snow Devil searcher, essentially, and for the most part, you are going to control. And it also gives protection to Vanquish Soul cards by revealing 1. So, yeah, it's a pretty good card, pretty good, but you don't really play more than 1. Consistency issues, like I mentioned. Speaking of which, we are playing 1 Pot of Prosperity. A small portion of the extra deck is a little bit flexible. Once we get to the extra deck, I'll explain. But yeah, because you just deal with so much consistency issues, you have to play the Pot of Prosperity. I've seen decks play Pot of Extravagance. I don't think that's right because you don't want to get rid of the rocks. We've seen what happens when you get rid of the rocks, right? And then I am playing 1 Rhoda. I'm playing the gold for lower purposes. Searches out Rosin. It's like really the only legal target. It's level 4 lower warrior. Someone activated that and they try to search up the Izuna. It happens though. But yeah, just consistency again. You're gonna hear that throughout the video, guys. And then for non-engine, we're playing the 1 Talon. You can make the argument for playing like Thrust as well, because you're gonna get hand trapped to hell. Considering the format, right? Everyone's playing Fua, everyone's playing Perulia in the main. For the most part, Ash is obviously another issue too. So you'll be able to activate Thrust and set like something like pretty sickening. But yeah, I think Talons is necessary. You could also play Thrust, but I don't think you need to. But that's it for the Vanquish solo engine. Some cuts that you can make. You could potentially getting away with just one Borger because technically he is a brick. You got to play 3 Mad Love. You got to play 1 Caesar. You could maybe make the argument for playing just 2 Xiaolong, but I think, or 1 Xiaolong, excuse me. But playing 2 does come up, and you need the fire attribute a lot in this deck. That's probably the most important one. That's why you have to play 2 to begin with. Let's get into the K9 engine. We are playing 3 copies of Jokul. I think the second best K9 card, other than Izuna. The reason that this card is really good and why the engine works is because you just have to reveal another level 5. So another level 5, you got the Xiaolong, and then you have the Holly Sue, which their effects are live. They're not negated when they're summoned from the hand. So this literally gives you, off of like just having these 2, right? Gives you a rank 5 play just right off the bat with 1 summon. That's why the K9 cards work really, really well together. He's a monster searcher as well, so you could search anything like Izuna, you could search out the Lantern. There's so much you could search off of them. They all have the same effects. You can normal summon without, when your opponent has 2 or more cards in their hand. So even though he's a 5, they're not inherently bricks, just like other like Vanquish, so like Xiaolong or Heavy Border. 3 copies of Izuna, arguably maybe the best. I think Jokul might be the best. But Izuna obviously is the whole. It's a hand trap in its own archetype. Shout out to Jay, right? Jay is a philosopher. He definitely always says, well, like the best way to fix Yu-Gi-Oh is to add hand traps in archetype engine, right? So for example, right, they just ask you at any point, yeah, Izuna or Ghost Spell or Fua, yeah, summon Izuna, send the Lupus, and then now you literally have your whole engine set up. The one thing downside to playing like the K9 engine is the fact that they don't work really well against Yummy, because Yummy doesn't really activate anything that is like in engine. So anything that they would activate in the graveyard or in the hand is going to be non-engine, because their effects do not activate in the hand. Okay, we are playing 1 Lantern. Lantern is a great card, just as good as like Jokul, right? Because you end up just summoning another level 5. But Jokul is generic. It doesn't have to be a K9 card. This has to be a K9 non-pyro card. So you could go ahead and just summon pretty much anything that you need. But it's in engine only. So that's why you only play 1 of him, because he can be a brick. Unless you're like playing something like Pure, which I don't think I've seen. But he's also a spell and trap negate or a searcher for the K9 engine. So definitely really good, and it searches out important cards. We're playing 1 Lupus. You can make the argument of playing 2. A lot of people are on a lot of K9 hate at the moment because it's one of the best engines in the game right now, because I would say probably because it's the newest one, but I don't think you ever need to play more than 1. As for spells for the K9, we're playing 1 Case. This searches out any monster that you need. So essentially a Jokul, right? It searches you out what you need. Also, if it's popped, it sets from the deck. Or if your opponent activated an effect in the graveyard, your K9 monsters gain 900 attack, which does come up pretty often. If you've noticed, right, like this deck doesn't have a problem with like OTKing, because every monster is like pretty beefy, and especially the extra deck monsters that once they do come out, but has no issues with OTKing. This is what you usually end up setting up when you pop the case for K9. This allows you to exceed summon on any K9 monster. Use a K9 monster to go into another one. Really, really good card, and it also you could reset itself. Doesn't really come up, especially in the deck that doesn't really play too much extra deck K9 cards. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. On to the rest of the non-engine. Maybe I should have saved Talons for this part, but we are playing 3 copies of Ash. Ash is phenomenal in this deck, even more so than usual because it's a fire. So it can be revealed off of like Stake Your Soul. You can reveal it for Holly Sue. Anything that needs a fire, you can use Ash for. So not only a hand trap, but it's also somewhat of like an extender. Obviously, we're playing 3 Fua for going second, which realistically, this is a deck that can afford to go second. You don't really have a problem with OTKing or breaking a board because it breaks the board part of the combo, and you don't really mind going second. So consider builds that go second, at least for this variant. And we were playing 3 Perulia. The reason we're playing Perulia is because we have K9 everywhere. And Vanquish, though, I really thought it was going to be a lot more popular. But realistically, I've been to my local, like a couple of locals actually, and I've heard it twice, maybe more than that. That no one has actually even played versus like a Vanquish Soul K9, which is crazy to me, you know, like how much hype the deck has. But the reason I'm playing 3 of Perulia in the main is because if I do run into the mirror match, I could just activate this on my turn and then prevent them from playing, or activate it on their turn, prevent them from playing. But that's it for the main deck. Let's jump into the extra. Let's get started with the K9 cards. We are playing 1 Werewolf. This is what we used Force Release for. So once we use a Ripper's Effect, this essentially just gives us hand knowledge. We could go ahead and just read our opponent's hand, banish a card to the end, and then they won't be able to use it. But the more important thing is that we get all that hand knowledge, right? Like, we'll be able to rip them, which is like so broken in my personal opinion. And also he's just so beefy. 33 plus the 900, he'll be like 42, right? So really, really, really good card in my opinion. But because the engine is so small, we only play the 1 of. We play 1 Ripper. I think this is, I'm at the fence at, because I wanted to play a second because it's such a good card. However, it's such a small engine, I don't think it really requires you to play a second copy of this. By the time that you get to a second one, like, you're not even using the K9 engine as much in terms of extra deck monsters. You're using more so the Vanquish Soul cards to clear out the game, right? You could play 2, but I'm only playing 1, and I think that might have been wrong, but I'm still on the fence about. That's all the K9 stuff. We are playing 1 Rocks. I never really summoned this guy. It doesn't really come up too often, I think. I don't think you need to play him, but it does come up in some scenarios. Haven't summoned him at all, but I could see some scenarios to play him. And also, he's a great way to go into Zeus as well, so keep that in mind. We're playing 2 Rock the Vanquisher, or of the Vanquisher. This card's amazing. It's a quick effect, either add from graveyard non-targeting or summon from hand, and both being a quick effect, which is so crazy. And then they have to attack the highest attack Vanquish Soul monsters. So he does have some sort of protection. He can't be used off as a link material, and it has happened where someone like talents to take the Vanquisher and then try to go into SP. And I'm like, bro, you cannot use this as link material, which is crazy. So, but yeah, I definitely think that there's an argument to be made to be playing 3. So something to consider as well. I am playing a Night Nash package. I am playing Nash Knight, of course, and then we're playing Exceeds Nash Knight, and then we're playing the 1 Masquerade, and then the 1 Umbral Horror. Now, you don't have to play this engine. You could play the Horror Arc, I think it's called, and then you could play Dark Horror to absorb materials as well. So it's just like Nash Knight, but Masquerade obviously needs the Masquerade as a material to do its on-field negate, which is super freaking crazy. So you summon out the Nash Knight, 2 level 5, so 2 K9s, 2 Vanquish Soul, Holly Sue, and Xiaolong. You detach both materials because it's generic. You attach Masquerade to it, right? And then you could also absorb another monster on the field, so it could also be your opponent's monster. And then, so you could potentially have like 2 material on this. And then you could just Exceed on top of him with Exceed Nash Knight. And then activate the effect, right? And then you'll just like Exceed on top of Umbral Horror. And Umbral Horror also pops a spell trap card on the field, which is absolutely crazy. Umbral Horror, non-targeting negate on the field. Also, if it does, discard a card at random from your opponent's hand. On top of that, burns your opponent's life points in half. But the thing is, it has to have a Masquerade attached to it as material, which it would. And it's destroyed at the end of the turn because of Exceed Nash Knight effect. I understand that Umbral Horror is like pretty expensive. It's like a $70 super, which is like crazy to me. But I do think it is something that I would recommend. But you don't actually need it. There's like other like targets, like I mentioned, like Horror Arc. I can't remember. It's like the water Exceeds monster. But yeah. This package is phenomenal. So like I mentioned, right, you could do this on turn 0 technically, because this attach effect into Masquerade is a quick effect. So you'll not only take a monster with Holly Sue, but then you could go ahead and take one with Nash Knight and then just steal another card, which is crazy to me. So just definitely something to consider. Really good package in my opinion. And you don't even have to play the Masquerade. You can play other stuff. I have another target, is the Tachyon. So he just negates everything on the field. Your opponent cannot activate cards for the rest of the turn, which is on the field at least, which is amazing and is a huge beat stick. And he doesn't have to have any type of like material to like really use this effect. So a really, really good card. And it's a good alternative. We play the villain Valon. So this has come up, right? So he's essentially a Book of Moon quick effect. So you could make him on your turn or on turn 0 to book something. And then on top of that, like I mentioned earlier, the trap card, Snow Devil, destroys everything that isn't Vanquish Soul. So you could activate the Valon, Book of Moon something, right? And then as the turn progresses, right, you could use Snow Devil to send everything that is a Vanquish Soul. He's on the field. And then you could go ahead and send the targeted card or like a back row to the graveyard, which is really, really good. And it's a good way to like out back row cards. So now we are just playing some generic like rank 5s. I played the V-Mana, excuse me. Now this could be a flex spot, I think. This is definitely could be another Ripper. It could be more Vanquish Soul card, another Rock. But something to consider is the V-Mana. It's just a monster negate. Detach 2 materials from it. Also a good way to go into Zeus. We're obviously playing the Paradise Smasher. I did this to my opponent. Shout out to Colson. I did this to my opponent, and yeah, he just wasn't able to do anything. But yeah, so we got that. Of course, we play the Typhon, and then we play the one Zeus. So we play Dark Zeus and Zeus. Zeus is amazing in this matchup because you could just set up multiple materials on a Zeus and then just like board wipe. So, and it's really hard to deal with that, you know. Not once per turn, and it's a quick effect. Extremely good card. But that's going to be it for the deck profile, guys. As for my thoughts and opinions, I do enjoy the deck for what it is, right? But the major problem with the deck is the consistency. Like, look at all this, right? Like, you have potential starters, right? Depending on all the attribute you have. Stake Your Soul. If it shows an Earth, you're gonna summon Holly Soon and do nothing, right? Like, if you have a handful of nothing. If you have like 3 Fua, 1 Perulia, and then Stake Your Soul, you're not doing anything, right? So like these cards require other cards to like really work out, or at least in Pot of Prosperity, you need to like look up the correct card. These are bricks. Like these are just like bricks, right? Like those cards suck. So like realistically, these are all the 1 card starters in the deck. The Razin, the Mad Love. There's a third Razin in there, or third Mad Love in there somewhere. Somewhere in here, there is a third one. As I know, I play a third one. Yeah, Mad Love. So, like, realistically, this is how many 1-card starters you have. You have 7 1-card starters. That's not a lot, right? And then, like, I don't even, like, they teeter to the line of, like, 1 card, right? Like, 1.5. Like, they, like, see, like, yeah, like, Xiaolong, Holly Sue, even though they're great, but you have to have the right attribute to make them work. Izuna, the same thing, right? Like, your opponent has to react. It's just really tough to even call these, like, 1.5 because they teeter the line. But realistically, this is all the starters that you have in the deck, which isn't a lot, and that's where the consistency lies, right? Like, I have opened abysmally, right? Like, I literally didn't have a playable hand. I had just like all these high level monsters with no canine or maybe too much engine, and just no non-engine, and it just I wasn't able to hold off the opponent from breaking the board. So that's like my one gripe. But the other thing I've noticed, I'm a big combo player, right? Like, you guys see my profiles. Like, I do heavy comboing, right? Like, I'm a combo enjoyer. This deck is not a combo deck. This deck it can be a combo deck, but it's more so like slow and paced to control your opponent from playing the game, and thinking like a couple steps ahead to have the right attributes in your hand. It's a lot of planning, and because of that, it's not a newcomer deck. It's not welcomed to unexperienced players. This is my first time playing Vanquish, so there'd be times I'm just searching the wrong attribute. So definitely something to consider. So it is a difficult deck to learn. But if you have if you have like a fire, a dark, and Holly Sue, oh my god, it feels amazing, right? And having the ability to play on turn 0, it feels amazing with the right attributes. But there's just too many times to count where I just opened so bad that I was just unable to play. And because you don't have a lot of non-engine, you are gonna get blown up a lot. So one Ash isn't going to stop Yummy, tell you that much, right? You need like other impactful hand traps to like really stop that. And because you have so much engine, right, with the Vanquish engine just being so big, you don't have a lot of space for a non-engine. So something to consider in my personal opinion. But that is going to bring the end to today's video. I want to get you guys' thoughts and opinions on the deck. What do you guys think about it? What do you guys think about my build? Let me know. Is there any way to improve it? What are you guys' thoughts on the deck? What do you guys think overall if you're playing it? What troubles are you guys having? Let me know in the comment section below, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will check you guys on the next one. Peace out, guys.